What is going on, fight fans? So today we're going to talk about Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva. The fight is going to happen on October 29th, which is crazy because that's my birthday. It's weird that that's the fight, but it is what it is. Who's going to win? Let's go ahead and break it down. Okay, so this is the perfect fight for Jake Paul. Now, I'm not of the mindset of many people where the moment Jake Paul picks an opponent, they go, oh, of course, because yeah, he's a pro, but he's unknown and he just got knocked out. Because that's what a lot of people were saying, that him picking Rockman Jr. was a calculated move up until he decided that the fight was off because Rockman Jr. was not on pace to make weight. And then the conversation changed. Those same people that were saying this is a calculated move, he sparred him already, he knows what he's doing, he knows that he could beat him. Those same people started saying he's scared, he knew he was gonna lose. It's like, you gotta pick one. You can't be on both sides of the fence. You can't be on the, yeah, he just picked him because he knows he's going to win. And then when the fight gets canceled for whatever reason, if he cancels it even more specifically, you're going to be like, oh, it's because he knew he was going to lose and he didn't sign the contract to take the fall. It's like, he can't have signed the contract to take the fall, to take a dive, and then didn't sign it because Jake. It's like you're just literally saying whatever fits your narrative of not giving Jake Paul credit. And here in this channel, Boxing Fanatico, we are unbiased. Like, do I have people that I like in boxing? Yes, I am a Shakur Stevenson fan, but I'm still not. But I still speak as unbiasedly as possible. But with that being said, Anderson Silva is the perfect fight. It's not the perfect fight because Jake Paul knows he's gonna beat him. It's not the perfect fight because Anderson Silva is gonna take a dive. It's not the perfect fight because of any of that stuff. It's the perfect fight the same way any prospect finally decides to fight for a world title. It's when the prospect feels that they're ready for a world title that they then go ahead and fight for a world title. It could be as quickly as what Lomachenko did, and it could take as long as whatever, Deontay Wilder did for a world title. It's when you think you're ready for that challenge. And I think Jake Paul thinks he's ready for the challenge. The thing with Anderson Silva is he is a pro boxer. He is undefeated. Granted, he came from MMA, but he has a legitimate win because his first boxing fight ever was against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Now, you could say Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. was undisciplined, or he didn't care for, training correctly, but he was a world-class boxer. He's won titles. He has had million pay-per-view buys. He's fought the likes of Sergio Martinez, Canelo Alvarez. He's a big deal in the sense that he was a real boxer, right? Granted, his discipline was horrible, but he was a real boxer. And Anderson Silva's debut, which so much credit to Anderson Silva, he beat him. So all the other fights, they're kind of like low level for Anderson Silva, but he has a feather in his cap to me because he beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. I don't think Jake Paul has that feather in his cap. I think beating Anderson Silva, because Anderson Silva beat a pro boxer, shows the level that Anderson Silva is on. Anderson Silva broke the mold in terms of MMA fighters coming into boxing and doing well. He's the first one to really do well and do as well as he has. I think boxing is actually pretty perfect for Anderson Silva, considering that his specialty was striking anyways, and he has good head movement and good defense. So I think Anderson Silva was able to do that. My opinion of who's going to win. And I just wanted to set that stage because I just can't stand how people want to discredit Anderson Silva and people want to discredit Jake Paul. Let's look at this from an unbiased perspective. My honest opinion is that Jake Paul will win the fight. I think that they're somewhat evenly matched in the sense that Anderson Silva has good striking, has good defense. Jake Paul has a good check hook. Not great, but good. Jake Paul has a lot of power in his right hand. And he's going to, and I think, I have a feeling that Jake Paul has been more dedicated to it because of the negativity. Negativity actually brews a lot of like positive manifestations. Like if he's constantly feeling like he's the one that's hated and people want to see him lose, that can motivate him more to constantly win. I think that there's more at stake for Jake Paul to lose than there is for Anderson Silva. I honestly, truly believe that this is the pinnacle of what Anderson Silva's entire boxing journey can take him to, right? This spectacle is probably the highest level for Anderson Silva. I don't see Anderson Silva becoming a world champion unless he shocks me. I don't see something like that happening. So I think that this is the highest level for Anderson Silva. This is the thing, the peak of what Anderson Silva can do, is fighting Jake Paul and having that spectacle. Not that Jake Paul's a big super boxer, ranked top 5 or whatever, just in terms of the spectacle, right? So that is my prediction. I believe that Jake Paul is going to use his ability to control Anderson Silva, because Anderson Silva is not an aggressive fighter. That's going to work more in the favor of Jake Paul. Anderson Silva likes to counterpunch a lot, but I think Jake Paul is going to be a little bit smarter than a lot of people expect. And I wouldn't be surprised if he knocks out Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva has been knocked out before in the UFC. I think that Jake Paul is going to win. I think he's going to win. I think he's going to be taking it a little bit more seriously than Anderson Silva. And I do believe that if he wins this fight, he has beaten a legitimate pro boxer, a pro boxer who beat someone who was in the ring with the likes of Sergio Martinez and the likes of Canelo Alvarez. So there you have it. That is my prediction. Let me know what you guys think. Guys, I'm not a Jake Paul fan. I'm not an Anderson Silva fan. Do I like what Jake Paul represents for boxing? I do, because I'm also not a gatekeeper and the old-fashioned way is the only way, and I'm not one of those guys. So to me, it's fine what he's doing, because it opens up, it opens up the sport to more eyeballs. The KSI DAZN pay-per-view was literally one of the most viewed pay-per-views for DAZN of all time. These kind of spectacles are working. They're working. And it's just the reality of it. So I'm not a fan of him. I'm not against him. I'm not a hater of him. I just appreciate what he's doing. I don't think he's a high-level boxer in any way, shape, or form. But I do think he could beat Anderson Silva. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.